big topic of the week is Nintendo's online infrastructure. And the thing that brought this up basically is EVO 2020 cancelling Super Smash Bros. Ultimate because of its online experience. And then that got me thinking, boys, what's your online experience? Less what Nintendo do, but how do you play games online? First of all, though, let's generally talk about what's missing from their online infrastructure. We talked about this many times, so we'll fly through this. Nick, I'm sure you have many things that you would like to see Nintendo implement.
For me, nothing's really missing, to be honest. There are things that would be nice, for sure, but they're not things that I would use. So I think we've all become far too used to using Discord now to chat online. And every we do the Smashing Cast, which is where we play a game online, and we just use Discord and record from Discord or Skype, and works fine. I understand that people want party chat and voice chat, but the only reason for me personally that voice chat would be good or better is to speak with people that I don't know. But everybody who I do know, I use Discord.
I suppose it depends on the game as well.
It does.
Yeah. It depends on whether or not that game does need voice chat. There are some shooting games that I think I wouldn't need it, but others, I'm talking about Hypercharge and the way that you need to work together, because it's a kind of co-op save your base. You need to tell someone, get over to that red base right now, and there's no way of doing it without voice chat.
Does it not have like system-based voice chat like Fortnite?
It doesn't. I believe they're going to implement it in a future update, so it will be there, but just because it isn't now, it is actually sorely missed, to be honest. Greg, is there anything that is missing from Nintendo's online infrastructure?
I think you've probably got the wrong panel to discuss this, because I'm not really finding too much missing either. Like from a personal perspective, like it generally works fine for me, and I do often hear or read about people saying about like how bad the online is, and playing wirelessly and whatnot, and like I've never had problems with like disconnections or feeling that the games are going slow or anything like it. So I don't really understand the what's lacking as such, but then I haven't really experienced playing online with other systems. So for me, like the Nintendo situation is just normal, and it's like it's always been fine.
Now, before we go on to why some of the performance issues I've been seeing anyway, some certain games struggle, are there any games in particular that you do have an issue with when you're playing online, Nick?
Rocket League used to be bad always. Like, literally always. I've been playing on PC for the last year, and I have never had any problems with Rocket League on PC. But on the Switch, it was very common for some reason. I think everybody knows who's played Rocket League. There's the severe lag that you would sometimes get, and the little disconnection sort of sign at the side.
Like a little red plug, yeah.
Mario Tennis was pretty bad at times. Smash Brothers can be bad at times. It's not good. Like, if you take a game like Splatoon, which the Wii version was pretty bad for me, but the Switch version, at least the first month, there were problems, but I'd say since it launched, since the first month, completely smooth all the time, never any real problems. Some people drop out, but it's never me. But I'm using a wired connection. And I do think people who use Wi-Fi connections are going to have more problems, because the Wi-Fi chip inside the Switch is horrendously bad and very weak. So it doesn't surprise me. Like, I've moved my Switch into another room now, so I have to use Wi-Fi. And I've got, I'm using a gigabit connection. And when I play wired, zero problems whatsoever in the majority of games. But when it's wireless, it's a little bit more noticeable. Mario Maker 2 is terrible. Like, unplayable, I would even say, online. Like, I just gave up with that, because every second or third level, it would just be, like, frozen. Basically, it didn't move. But I think part of the problem for me and you, Lee, is that we live far away from people who are playing.
And that's one of the problems is going to bring up distance.
Yeah.
One of the games I love to play is Capcom Beat 'em Up, and Dazzy B from the forums, he on a Discord channel as well. He plays it a lot. Well, at least he plays it when I play it. And when I connect one-on-one, and you go think he's in England, I'm all around halfway around the world in Taiwan, and we're playing it, and while as we're playing it, it's like, oh, this is good, and we're chatting on Discord, this is holding up really well. But as soon as one of us disconnects, the game then goes twice as fast. And that's no exaggeration, it does go twice as fast. If a third person, and this happened about a week and a half ago when Dennis joined in, and we had 3 people on Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, it became absolutely unplayable. It just, the amount of lag then, and Dennis is situated in the Netherlands, and it's specific games though. Like you say, Splatoon 2 is an exemplary that goes into games that perform well for me. Doesn't matter who I play with Japanese, American, Europeans. I've never had a disconnection. I've had people drop out like you have, but I've never had a problem myself. And there are other games that do struggle. Rocket League, and I suppose maybe Rocket League isn't such a big game in Asia, so I'm not finding a lot of Asian games, and I'm connecting sometimes to American servers, and as soon as I connect outside of the Southeast Asian region, then it's just unplayable. The ping goes up to 300. Doesn't matter how fast my internet connection is, and that red disconnection error, little GIF or whatever they use in the corner, is flashing away merrily. And like you said, Super Mario Maker, completely broken. Super Smash Brothers, now and again, Super Smash Brothers, I've had some good games on there. Super Mario Party, though.
Terrible.
Just, yeah, awful. For a little mini game collection, just does not run online.
When we've done the Smashing Cast, when we played Smash Brothers, I would say 90% of the time it was fine, but there was occasions when there was a lot of slowdown. We did Capcom beat 'em ups as well for the Smashing Cast. There was me, Sam, and Dennis, and Ryan as well. So 2 in the Netherlands, 1 in England, and me in Latvia. No problems. It was pretty good.
So it's that
I think
extra
it's the
distance
extra
for me.
distance probably is. Animal Crossing as well actually is pretty good online. Like there are a few glitches here and there and a few little sort of bugs with people running through buildings and stuff like that. But for the most part, to say that it can support 8 players, Animal Crossing is generally a good online experience, a smooth online experience, I would say.
So yeah, that's my next question: is games that perform well. Greg, are there any bad games you're going, oh my god, I can't play that online? Or you can continue that then, games that you think, hey, this is holding up well. How about Streets of Rage 4?
I haven't played that online yet, actually.
I haven't tried either, actually. Yeah.
We might have to jump on together later and find out.
Yeah.
I would say, like, anytime, like, Rocket League's been bad or anything, like, I generally just put it down to, like, playing with people that maybe have a bad connection or maybe they're a further distance away, but there was always a problem. I find it happens more often sometimes after the game's updated or something. There's like some things change. It's like the very first kickoff of like the games, it's always like you're always like a second or 2 behind or something, and then like the ball shoots away somewhere and around a direction that you're not prepared for as such. But I haven't actually played Rocket League since buying FIFA, which is weird. But yeah, FIFA seems to run kind of okay online as well. Yeah, I'd say, like, so you just said, like, Splatoon 2 works very well. Like, I had problems with the first game on Wii U.
Me too.
But that's because, like, that was in my old house where, like, I only had, like, 2 meg download speeds. So, like, it was really, like, whenever the game first came out, like, it was kind of okay, but, like, I had quite a few laggy games and people always seemed to complain when I was joining the game. But then, like, after a couple of months, they done an update and I wasn't able to actually connect to play at all after that. So, yeah, because of that, I kind of always missed the boat on multiplayer Splatoon, and even the second game, like, I haven't really been playing it, so it's always going to be a disappointment. I'm trying to think
a new Splatfest coming up. get you back into it, at least for a weekend?
I don't like mayo or ketchup. Mario Kart 8 is just brilliant online most of the time.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, I can't really fault that. I'm trying to think what other multiplayer games I've played online. Obviously, I've played Mario Tennis as well, and
yeah, just would ask you about Mario Tennis. How was your Mario Tennis experience? Nick said not so hot.
I've played with Darren before, and we've had some really good games and stuff. It's just whenever you're playing like random people in the tournaments online or whatever, it's quite often you get like pretty dodgy games, and like you'll find games where like it's okay for a few seconds, and then there'll just be a wee moment where it's terrible for like maybe a minute or two, and then it'll come back to being decent again. Tetris 99 works fine. Like, it's maybe not too taxing, like, but it's yeah, generally I often have a pretty good experience online with the Switch.
Games that I've seen perform well, Mario Tennis, even though I've been playing yourself, Greg, and Darren online, even with that distance, it's still playable. There is a noticeable lag, though. I have to hit earlier than I usually would, and you have to kind of teach yourself that kind of timing. But it does still perform well, considering what they're trying to do there. Mario Kart 8 faultless. Wolfenstein Youngblood has been fantastic online. That's with one other player, so there's two of you running around, and it's drop in, drop out as well. And I haven't seen. Sometimes you see them tearing across, going too fast or whatever, or jumping and warping somewhere, but it settles down very quickly. And another first-person shooter, Hypercharge Unboxed, has been exemplary for a smaller game. And then one game that I didn't expect to perform so well online, and maybe it's because there's a hell of a... Whenever I go on there's a full set of Japanese players playing this. They love this game by the looks of it. Friday the 13th. You just get in, and I just get perfect games every single time on Friday the 13th. Chasing people down, there's none of that character jerky movement or anything. Everything is perfect. Overwatch performs particularly well as well. All these kind of first-person shooters, and it's something that Mark brought up in the Discord channel. He said that it's easier for them to track you in a 3D space than it is over a 2D platformer. So that's one of the reasons why Super Mario Maker 2 performs so poorly. So things would be... Oh, Nick, did you say games that you loved?
Basically everything you've mentioned, and I would say actually I would add to that list ARMS. I have never had a single problem with ARMS.
Oh yeah,
it's always been flawless. I even recently jumped in about a month ago and did a few online games, zero problems whatsoever. And just for comparison, I've been playing F1 2019 online quite recently, and it's pretty awful, to be honest. Once you actually get into a game and start playing, it's fine, but you've got up to 20 players, and there's just so much waiting for people to confirm things. Like, you just sat waiting in menus for so long. Choose the track, everybody chose, okay, press A to confirm. And people just don't do it. They're just like, they're not paying attention. As well, like, if you have a microphone, it's open, or if people don't switch the microphone off, you can just hear it, and you can mute everybody, but there's times when you sat playing and you can just hear somebody heavy breathing in the background while you're trying to concentrate. So, I mean, Switch has problems, I admit, but, there's still other problems that are present. I think one of the good things about Switch, especially first-party Nintendo games, is how quickly everything gets going. You're not waiting a long time. And playing Halo as well online, in Halo Master Chief Collection, the multiplayer deathmatch, again, lots of waiting at times. Whereas, especially with Splatoon, it's so quick. Get into a game, play, and then you just keep going and going and going. Like, there's at least under a minute of waiting between games. So I think that from that side, it's good. And I think the grass isn't always greener on the other side, I'm playing on PC, fair enough, but Xbox, Microsoft have got like nearly 20 years worth of experience with online games, so it should be good. And Nintendo have tried for 15 years to do online, and they still haven't even really got it the basics right. So completely different level.
One of the problems that people call them out on is that they have no dedicated servers. Maybe like a third party who's published a game, they would have their own dedicated servers, but Nintendo themselves, for their first party games, they don't. They still rely on peer-to-peer connection, which is then, especially in a game where like Splatoon, I don't know how Splatoon runs so well, peer-to-peer pressure. You got 8 people with completely different internet speeds from different parts of the world coming together in one. So I have to compliment them on Splatoon 2, but in the same vein, what's happening with Super Mario Maker 2, Nintendo?
They should be investing money in servers, really.
Yes.
I mean, it's not the same. Nintendo don't have a games library the same as Microsoft or Sony, where competitive games are, much more prevalent on the platforms. But I think they at least need to invest some money in servers, because like if you have games like Splatoon, like Mario Maker might actually work if it had servers, and things like Smash Brothers would be better as well. And then if you've got servers, then it does make the experience better for the majority of people. So why not do it? Like, yes, they're expensive, but as we're going to talk about soon, they've got 15 million people paying quite a lot of money every month, or every year, whatever, for NES ROMs, basically.
Yep, they're not free.
Yeah.
Greg, any last thoughts on that before we do talk about the 15 million extra subscribers?
I was just going to say, like Nick was saying, like Nintendo's been trying for 15 years to make like a decent online experience, whatever. Like my favorite online experience on the Nintendo system is actually the first one I had, really, and that was Mario Strikers Charged back on the Wii. Like we made tournaments and all, and everybody had like we specifically designed signatures and all on the forum with like their team set up and home stadium and whatnot. Like it's some crack.
Awesome. Gutted I missed out on it. So that is the kind of extra information, and the final thing we'll maybe the final but one thing we'll finish on here. Nintendo Switch Online. It's from the investors meeting. Shuntaro Furukawa, the Nintendo's president, has said that memberships are increasing steadily, with the expanding hardware install base around 15 million user accounts now. And he also said, by adding elements that make games even more fun to play and by increasing the appeal of the service itself, we hope to continuously grow this into a service that makes Nintendo Switch even more enjoyable and convenient for consumers to play. Now, he's been saying that every every quarterly investors meeting. Has he fulfilled that quota? Nick?
Not really. I don't know what else they could do, to be honest. Like, because we've spoken about Splatoon, we've spoken about Mario Kart, we've spoken about how well Animal Crossing runs online, but the online implementation itself is god awful. Like, just going through heaps and heaps of menus. I said before that some games, it's very streamlined, you just get into it. Animal Crossing is one of the worst offenders, where just doing something so simple takes forever, and it's just beyond annoying. So I think they need to have a more uniform service. Like, I think online needs to be implemented better in some games. Not necessarily more features. I'm not talking about party chat. I'm not talking about messaging. I don't care about that, to be honest. We're all old enough and mature enough. We all have smartphones. We can use them much more easily. But just getting the basics, which they still haven't got right. They still haven't got the basics right. So my want from Nintendo would be for them to get the basics right, to get it more on a level with sort of what we expected in 2010 rather than 2020. And just, because it is, as we've mentioned, we've just had a list of games that are terrible online and some games that are really good, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be everything is good because it's 2020 and it's not difficult, and you have experts and you have a partnership with Dina as well, who are specialists in online and mobile devices. and cloud stuff. So why it's baffling, to be honest. Like,
you are smashing the hot take.
I just don't get it. I don't get why it's so difficult. Okay, they're a Japanese company, but so Sony.
Yeah.
So ask
Greg,
Nintendo of America to do it. Sorry, ask Nintendo of America to do it.
Yeah, get them to
just say, okay, 20 years.
Outsource.
We haven't been able to do this. Nintendo of Europe, Nintendo of America, please come to Japan and help us do this. That's it. It's that simple.
Any thoughts, Greg?
Nothing really to add on that particular track. I sort of more thinking along the lines of I'm interested to see what sort of incentives they go with for this year. Probably come September time when a lot of people's subscriptions are ending again, because I don't think N64 Online is coming. Nor do I particularly think an N64 Mini is coming either. So whether we get another sort of game in the vein of like Tetris 99, maybe something like a Mario versus Donkey Kong, or some sort of, I'm not sure what game Nintendo will go for, but if there's something in that sort of area rather than another of their retro consoles brought to the online service, I don't know, but yeah, it'd definitely be interesting to see. Like the SNES app, I've been surprised by how little I've actually used it.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree with that, yes.
Yeah, but I think it's part of that is like if you haven't like owned a Wii or Wii U and you maybe haven't played these SNES games for like 20 years or something, then like having that library in front of you, that's bound to be like amazing. But we've all replayed these games several times over the years, and it's like I'm maybe not ready to play through them again. Like, so even having them there conveniently, which is what I kind of always wanted. I wanted the Switch to be like a console where like everything is available for it. It's like I'm not ready to play those games at the moment, so yeah, interested to see what other incentives they have.
I'm holding out hope for the N64 app on Nintendo Switch. I'm still holding out hope, and whether it's coming, we'll find out in time. Nick, you were going to add?
Yeah, like I've read a lot of criticism about Nintendo Switch Online offerings, like. And it's quite a difficult one, because I do think if they have too much stuff on there, it's going to push people away from buying new games. So I think, drip... I mean, it is like drip releasing stuff, but they've been doing that since the Wii, so what's new? But I do think if you just stick 100 games on there, first of all, people won't even look at half of them, and second of all, people who do will be more invested in that than invested in indie games, for example, or playing something new. So I do think that approach, I'm not really going to be that critical of the approach that they've taken with NES and SNES Online. I think it's fine. Like, it is nice every couple of months to just get something new and try it out and think, oh yeah, 1986 wasn't a great year for gaming. But I think rather than online stuff, I mean, basic improvements, obviously, to how the games run and how the online is implemented is something I'd like to see. Extra features, not so much, but I do think the Switch would benefit from a more sort of standard approach, as it has become on Steam and PSN and Xbox Live, towards profiles and achievements. I do kind of see myself moving towards being a supporter of that, to having just more information. Like, yes, it's nice to see how long someone's played a game, but maybe you can show me how much they've done in that game, or some kind of system-wide, not necessarily achievements, but just more information about what people have done and what they've been playing, I think would be useful, because I think that would start more conversation about stuff as well, rather than just seeing Greg has played Streets of Rage for 10 days ago. Well, that tells me nothing. Like, has he finished the game? Obviously we've got this podcast to talk about it, but if it's someone who you don't speak to very often, it would be nice to see, like, just what they've done, what they've achieved, and maybe some kind of badges or whatever, That's what I'd like to see.
I have a few students, just as an aside, I have a few students who picked up the Nintendo Switch Online membership over the last maybe 2 to 4 weeks. Two different sets as well. And I've been pointing them towards some good SNES games, you've got to check out Super Mario World. And then show them a quick video in the middle of class, showing them a quick video of Super Mario World. Good teacher. And Link to the Past or whatever, and say, you're at that age now. You're 11, 12 years old. That's the time. That's how old I was when I played it first. Work your way through that, and they're not interested,
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that recently. Thinking about all the games I played growing up, and that feeling that I'm probably going to have when I'm going to show my son that in a few years' time when he's old enough to sort of play games and stuff, and him just being ready to dismiss it is probably going to break my heart. And I don't know, they'll probably, I don't know if they'll still be playing Fortnite or whatever in a few years' time, but I just know whatever him and his mates will be playing at the time, I'm just going to be scoffing at it, and he's going to be exactly the same to what I'm into.
You never know, he might have a healthy retro outlook on life.
I will do my best.
Good man. My son has been looking into some slightly older games, especially from the N64 as well, and he has been playing the original Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2 as well on the NES app. So yeah, he's done well. He's done well. Anything last to add?
We need to get online more together.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we can try out some of these. Yes, dedicated servers is the big takeaway for me, I think. Put some of that 15 million subscribers money into some dedicated servers, in particular for your first-party games, Nintendo, and we should all be having some smoother experiences. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.